Alright, so I want to talk today about disposable blade razor knives, or box cutters, or blades of that manner, in which the blade itself, rather than resharpening many times, it is most easy to just throw it away, obviously. These are a few options that I happen to own. I'm a huge fan of disposable type razor knives. Because I don't really have the skill to effectively sharpen knives, nor the desire to maintain a razor sharp blade. I'd rather just throw it away once I dull it up, and be able to cut on any surface and not worry about the cutting surface. Assuming it's something I don't care about. Like, I'll cut a piece of sandpaper on a sidewalk because I know that my knife is disposable, and if I can cut that sandpaper on a sidewalk, I don't care what happens to the knife after that. I cut a lot of cardboard in my job, open a lot of boxes and things like that, and so I don't really want to gum up or dull a nice knife on something like a cardboard box. So, that's just a certain type of rationale that I have. Not a lot of people have that type of rationale or feel that way. A lot of people really love knives and consider them an art and a joy to carry and things like that. Now, the one thing that all these knives have in common that I own are they're all really small. This is because I don't like a lot of bulk in my pockets, and I don't see any value in having larger knives. So in addition to being disposable, these knives are also much of the time like really thin and not noticeable in your pocket. I'll just start off with left to right here. This is a Chinese knockoff of a really expensive handmade knife. There's nothing particularly special about this knife, and while I don't own the original, I do recognize that this is like, a Alibaba, or AliExpress, $5.99 knockoff. I didn't buy this myself. This was a gift from a friend. It is pretty cool though. So basically the way this works is you have a leaf spring here in the back of the blade, and you just kind of move that out of the way, and then you can move the blade in and out, and it locks positively in the leaf spring. The spring internally just engages these notches in the blade right there, and that's how it keeps from like moving in or out on you. It's not really very dangerous as long as you're careful. This is not a one-handed operation. You have to move the spring out of the way and then move the blade so that it engages, and I'll let you hear the click here. So you can see it really does click positively in one of the two notches of this blade. That's cool. It just holds the knife. It's really thin, barely noticeable. You could slide this into a wallet if you had a pocket that accommodate the length of this knife. I have thought about just like grinding off this back end so that this will fit more easily into a credit card slot on a wallet, but I didn't do it because I don't really care that much. It has a flat blade screwdriver and a bottle opener. I've never used the bottle opener, but it looks like it works. I mean, I have a lot of multi-tools and things like that, and so I have a lot of bottle openers in my life, and I don't get to test them all out. I'm not that heavy of a drinker. But they pretty much always work. Other than that, thin blade, very nice. I will say something about this Chinese version that drives me nuts is, I don't know, I don't have a lot of light in here right now, so I don't know if you're going to pick it up. But these screws, I don't know if you can see this, they're all stripped out. They're Phillips head screws, they're not very long, and they're all stripped out. That's a true sign of an amateur, the person that put those screws in. It's not very hard to carefully drive a screw without stripping it. That type of thing drives me nuts to the point where I'm probably going to replace these screws, though they do look to be metric. So, someday. Anyway, doesn't matter. Nice knife, cheap. Perhaps buy the original $200 version if you're that sort of psychopath. Next up is just your regular old box knife. This is what they give you at grocery stores. It's tried and true. Always works. Very effective. Super cheap. You could buy a dozen of these for $6 on Amazon. Probably not even the cheapest place to find them. I put heat shrink tubing on this one. It's normally like shiny. I just put heat shrink tubing on it to mess around and make it more tactical. That way when I'm sneaking up on my enemies in the woods to slit their throats with this knife, they don't see me coming because of the matte black finish on it. So that's just a pro tip, if you're going to be sneaking up on people, you want to make sure to have matte black finish in all your knives. But yeah, so these are cool, they're great, they're really cheap. You can literally buy dozens of them, throw them everywhere, populate your whole life with them, and you'll always have a knife somewhere nearby, even if you forget what yours at home. I do like these because you can pull them apart really easily and just use these razor blades as like scrapers if you need to, or you know, to like line up your Coke if you're gonna do like some lines of Coke in a bathroom or something. You know, you need to have a razor blade on hand for that, definitely. So yeah, there you go. These are like, you know, there's really not much to say about that. Old classic design, been around forever. This is pretty cool. This is another gift I got from a friend. I didn't know about this knife. It's an OLFA craft knife. They do have a larger version of this knife, but the small one is really cool. Basically, you have a knurled knob, and then you just kind of move it in and out, and then lock it in position by tightening the knob. And it really doesn't go anywhere once you tighten it. It's like, I mean, you're not stabbing anything with this. You're using this as a fine carving knife. You could almost use it like an X-Acto knife style, cutting, precision, cutting out paper, or, you know, I've seen a lot of people whittle wood with this. Razor sharp right out of the box. It is shaving sharp, which you don't see with a lot of like disposable utility blades. Made in Japan. The blades themselves are made in Japan. They are double-sided. Ouch. They are double-sided knives like that. Really easy to change. Not easy to find these knives. I bought a couple of spares off eBay just to have them. It's a cool knife, definitely. If this is something that you wanted to EDC, you're not going to see a lot of people that have seen this before. I do EDC a disposable box cutter because I don't care about regular knives, like I said. One thing is, at the bottom, you can see there's a small divot there. That positively engages with a shoulder at the bottom of this knurled knob, so that when you have the knife all the way in the bottom position, you can snug it up just a little bit and it won't go forward. So it is safe to carry this in your pocket. I've carried this in just a regular, like, little, you know, the coin pocket in the right side of your jean pants. It's really small, really comfortable, really cool little knife, and razor sharp right out of the box. I do like this as a disposable knife, especially because it's one I haven't seen before. Next up is the Gerber EAB version 1. This is, or the EAB Lite or whatever. There's two versions of this knife. I don't particularly like the other version. I like this one because it's a little bit smaller. This isn't my main knife. This is the main knife that I carry every single day. It's my favorite pocket knife ever. I love it. It's super small. It has, you know, disposable razor blades, which I love, and it has a belt clip, or a money clip, which I mainly carry this in my left front pocket, clipped on the outside of the pocket, so it's always really accessible. It doesn't bang around in my pocket. It doesn't bunch up at the bottom and get tangled up with my keys or anything like that. It's just always right there, right where I need it. Very reliable. The mechanism on it is super solid. Feels great to open and close. This locks up with a leaf spring mechanism. Great little knife. Holds a razor blade. I like it. This isn't my main one. I don't know where my main one is right now. I think I left it at work. This is my backup, so you can tell it's brand new. My main one's a lot more beat up. I've been carrying it for many years, and it's just a great knife. I absolutely love this knife. It's my favorite. Great box cutter. One thing I will say is, if you do carry box cutters, it's worth it to invest in higher quality blades. Don't just buy the cheapest Chinese blades you can get. Get some Stanley blades or something like that, Irwin blades. They tend to last a lot longer. It's not just snake oil, they really do. I was using Stanley's carbide blades for a little while, but I found the edges to be more brittle, and though they are a lot sharper straight out of the box than a regular blade. Anyway, as a side note, maybe just doesn't really matter. This is new. This is from my last video I did on keychain multi-tools. Like I said, I don't particularly like this knife in that video, although I can't really explain why I don't like it, because it is so useful and small. It's a little bit dangerous. You might cut yourself with this. I explained in my previous video that this mechanism is a little bit hard to move, which is good. It has some positive engagement, but there's really no great way to move this blade around on here. You have to be really careful, because there is no like thumb screw mechanism of that sort where you can, like, you know, get your thumb on a thing and safely rotate the knife around. You have to kind of get in there and then very carefully move it into a locked position. when it's engaged in this half notch, you want to move it with your thumb like that. That's kind of what you want to do. But you have to be really careful because there's no knurling on this edge at all, or thumb screw, or any way to really push it into position. It's super easy to slide your thumb up there and get cut, which I have been cut a couple times with this knife. Although that's really it. Using this Phillips blade screwdriver, Phillips head screwdriver that's on the end of here is really hard because it digs into your palm when you're turning it. It's not so bad if you're turning something that has threads already cut, like a machine screw or something like that, but like I did a demonstration where I was driving a drywall screw into just a piece of wood. I mean, I did drill a clearance hole, and it's pretty cutty on your palm, so just something to keep in mind. This is an option. It's pretty cheap. All of these knives are pretty inexpensive. They're around $5 or $6 each, except for this one. These are the cheapest by far. So anyway, that's really it. That's disposable razor knives. There you go. Thank you.